I walked into my kitchen on a Friday evening, holding takeout for two. Chinese food from the place my wife loved. I left work early to surprise her. Instead, I was the one who got surprised. She was sitting on our kitchen counter in her silk robe, laughing at something a man was saying. He stood at our stove, frying eggs in my pan, wearing nothing but jeans. Young, maybe 25. Confident in a way that comes from not knowing better yet. The bag of food hit the floor. Containers split open. Sweet and sour sauce spread across the tile. They both turned. Her face shifted from laughter to something like guilt. But not enough guilt. "Eric," she said, my name coming out flat. "You weren't supposed to be home yet." The man Ryan, I learned later, casually buttoned his shirt, grabbed his jacket, walked past me without a word. No apology. No shame. Just the smell of expensive cologne and my eggs burning on the stove. I stood there frozen while my wife of 17 years slid off the counter and tightened her robe. "You'll understand one day," she said quietly. "Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments what time it is where you are now." My name's Eric Donnelly. I'm 44 years old. And that was the day my marriage died in my own kitchen. I spent that night on the couch. Couldn't bring myself to sleep in our bed. Couldn't bring myself to leave either. Upstairs, I heard drawers opening and closing. The sound of luggage zippers. Her moving through our house like she was packing for a business trip. She came down around midnight. Sat on the arm of the couch. "I need to feel alive again, Eric. You've become safe. Predictable. I can't breathe in this life anymore." "How long?" I asked. "Does it matter?" "It does to me," she sighed. 3 months. Maybe 4. I wasn't keeping track. 4 months. While I was working 60-hour weeks. While I was visiting my father in hospice. While I was being the dependable husband she apparently found suffocating. "I'm leaving tomorrow," she said. "I'll come back for the rest of my things later." She stood up. Started to walk away. Then turned back. "This wasn't about you failing. It was about me needing more." In the morning, she left. Tossed her wedding ring into my coffee mug on her way out. I sat there staring at it floating in cold coffee, thinking about the mortgage papers upstairs with both our names on them. "You might need that ring back," I said to the empty room. The news spread faster than I expected. Small town. People talk. Friends called. Some genuinely concerned. Others clearly just fishing for details. I stopped answering after the third. "I'm so sorry, but what happened exactly?" At work, people whispered. I catch conversations stopping when I walked into rooms. Someone in accounting made a joke about midlife trade-ins that I wasn't supposed to hear. I endured it in silence. Focused on my job. Came home to an empty house every night. Against my better judgment, I checked her social media. She'd already changed her relationship status to single. Posted a photo of herself at a coffee shop, smiling wide. Caption, "Finally free." 3 days later, another post. Her and Ryan at a restaurant I'd never been able to afford. New chapter. No regrets. I scrolled through dozens of photos, each one designed to show how much better her life was without me. Then I noticed something. The location tag on several posts. An address I recognized. The condo we talked about buying together 2 years ago. The one we couldn't afford because I'd been conservative with our finances. Apparently, she'd found a way to afford it now. I deleted my social media accounts, but I took screenshots first. Documentation. Just in case. That night, I couldn't sleep. Lay in bed, our bed, though it didn't feel like ours anymore, thinking about how we gotten here. We met at a charity event in 2006. I was 27, working my way up at a construction management firm. She was 26, working in marketing, laughing at something her friends said. Our first date was mini golf. She beat me by 12 strokes and made me buy ice cream as consolation. We got married a year later. Small ceremony. Her parents didn't approve, said I wasn't ambitious enough. But she defended me then. Said love mattered more than careers. For years, things were good. We bought our house. Talked about kids. Made plans. Then slowly things changed. She started criticizing my promotions for being incremental. rolled her eyes when I got excited about project completions, made comments about friend husbands who made more money, took bigger risks, lived more interesting lives. I'd been so busy trying to be stable, to be the man she said she wanted when we married, that I'd missed her wanting someone else entirely. The affair probably started while I was caring for my father during his final months, while I was exhausted and grieving and trying to hold everything together. She'd been planning her exit even then. 3 weeks after she left, a courier showed up at my office, handed me an envelope in front of my entire team. Divorce papers. She couldn't even wait to serve them privately. I took them to my lawyer, an older man named Vincent who'd handled my father's estate. He read through everything carefully, making notes. "She's in a hurry," he observed. "Wants this finalized in 60 days. Can we do that?" "We can. But Eric, I need you to review something." He pulled out the asset disclosure form. She didn't list the cabin. Our cabin. Jointly owned property we bought 5 years ago as an investment. Worth about $80,000 now. She forgot? I asked. Or she's hoping you'll forget. Vincent leaned back. If she's not claiming it in the divorce, we can move it into a trust. Protect it legally. She'd have to prove co-ownership to challenge it, and if she's not listing it now, do it, I said. Vincent raised an eyebrow. You sure? This is going to complicate things if she realizes. I'm sure. He filed the paperwork that afternoon. The cabin transferred into a trust with my name only. And my wife had no idea. The first weekend alone in the house was brutal. Every corner smelled like her perfume. Her coffee mug still sat in the cabinet. Her magazines were still on the coffee table. I spent Saturday boxing up her things. Started in the bedroom. Found a receipt tucked in her jewelry box. Tiffany and Company. Dated 3 weeks before I caught her with Ryan. A necklace. $2,000. Purchased on our joint credit card. The one I'd been paying off every month. I sat on the bed holding that receipt, doing the math. She bought jewelry for herself, or more likely for him, using money from an account I was funding. I took a photo of the receipt, added it to a folder on my laptop labeled Documentation, started going through other drawers. Found more receipts. Expensive dinners. Hotel stays. Purchases that had seemed normal at the time but now felt like evidence of a double life. I documented everything. Photographed it all. Organized it by date. Not out of anger. Out of necessity. Because I'd learned something in my years managing construction projects. The person with the best documentation wins the dispute. And this was starting to feel like a dispute. I ran into Ryan at the hardware store the following week. I was buying paint to redo the bedroom. He was in line ahead of me, buying expensive power tools. He turned, saw me, and his face lit up with something like amusement. Hey man, Eric, right? Right. Look, no hard feelings, yeah? I guess she needed someone with more energy. He grinned. You understand. I nodded slowly. Sure. Anyway, got her on. We're fixing up her place. He paid with a credit card. I watched the cashier swipe it. Saw the name on the card. My wife's. After he left, I approached the cashier. I think my card got mixed up with that guy's. Can you check the last 4 digits? She looked at her screen. Read them off. I memorized the number years ago. It was definitely my wife's card. Thanks, I said. My mistake. I didn't need the receipt. But I asked for it anyway. Slipped it into my pocket. More documentation. Work became my refuge. My boss offered me a promotion around this time. Senior project manager overseeing a major commercial development. More responsibility. Significant pay increase. It's demanding, he warned. Long hours. High stress. Given everything you're going through personally, I'll understand if you want to pass. I want it. You sure? Don't let personal drama derail your career. It won't, I promised. I threw myself into the job. 60-hour weeks became 70. I learned every detail of that project. Made myself indispensable. My team respected me, trusted my decisions, appreciated that I never brought my personal problems to work. Meanwhile, the paychecks got bigger. My savings account, now separate from any joint accounts, started growing. One evening, working late, I got an email. Subject line, "Can we talk about the taxes?" My wife, wanting to discuss filing jointly one last time. I stared at that email for 10 minutes before responding. "What do you need?" Her reply came immediately, like she'd been waiting. "We should file jointly this year. It'll save us both money. Can you send me the tax documents?" I agreed, but I made copies of everything first, because something told me this wasn't just about taxes. The tax forms she sent back were interesting. She'd listed Ryan's income on her portion, listed his bank account as hers, which meant legally she was claiming responsibility for his finances. Vincent found it fascinating. If they're commingling finances this quickly, and he has any debt, she's potentially liable. Does he have debt? Let me check. 2 days later, Vincent called. "Your friend Ryan has a bankruptcy filing from 3 years ago, and some outstanding judgments. If she's listed him on financial documents, creditors could come after her too. She doesn't know this." Apparently not. I should have felt bad. Should have warned her. But I remembered the kitchen, the ring in my coffee, the social media posts mocking our marriage. I saw nothing that would tie me to their financial mess. Just documented everything and waited. A mutual friend hosted a dinner party 2 months after the separation. I almost didn't go, but avoiding social events felt like hiding. So I went. My wife was there, with Ryan, both dressed expensively, laughing loudly, making sure everyone knew how happy they were. When someone raised a glass to new beginnings, Ryan added, "Out with the old, in with the new." Everyone laughed nervously. A few people glanced at me. I smiled politely, finished my drink, then quietly paid for everyone's dinner on my way out. The host caught me at the door. "Eric, you didn't have to do that." I wanted to. As I walked to my car, I heard shouting inside. Turned back to see my wife at the counter. Card declined. Ryan's card declined too. They eventually scraped together enough cash from friends. I drove home feeling something that wasn't quite satisfaction. Just acknowledgement. Their perfect life was expensive. And expensive lives require real money, not credit cards that were reaching their limits. I needed to clear my head, so I drove to our cabin the following weekend. Hadn't been there since before everything fell apart. The door was unlocked. Inside was chaos. Beer cans everywhere. Empty bottles. Cigarette burns in the couch. Broken lamp. The place reeked of stale alcohol and neglect. They'd been using it, probably for weeks. I took photos of everything. Every room. Every piece of damage. Time-stamped and geotagged. Called Vincent from the porch. "They trashed it," I said. "Perfect. Document everything. I'll use it if she tries to claim the property." She already tried. Her lawyer contacted me yesterday. Wants to add the cabin to the asset division. But she didn't list it, which is why I told them it's already in a trust. Legally yours now. If she wants to fight it, she'll have to prove she has claim to it. And the damage makes it even harder for her to argue she's been a responsible co-owner. I spent 2 hours cleaning that cabin. Not because I had to. Because it was mine now, and I respected it more than she ever had. My wife's lawyer pushed hard on the cabin. Claimed it was hidden assets. That I was being deceptive. Vincent responded with documentation. The transfer had been legal. She'd failed to list it herself. Her own negligence, not my deception. Then he sent photos of the damage. "Your client's boyfriend destroyed the property while illegally occupying it. We're considering vandalism charges." Her lawyer went quiet after that. But my wife didn't. She called me directly. First time since she'd left. "You're making my life hell, Eric. I'm protecting my assets. That cabin is half mine. Then you should have listed it in the divorce filing. You tricked me. I trusted you to be honest in your disclosures. You weren't. That's on you." She hung up. 10 minutes later, I got a text. From Ryan's number. "You're making her life hell. Back off." I screenshotted it. Forwarded it to Vincent. Harassment from her boyfriend. Might want to file a restraining order. Vincent replied, "Let's wait. Give them row." Ryan's texts continued over the next week, each one more aggressive than the last. She deserves better than some washed-up man hiding behind lawyers. You're pathetic. Move on. Keep this up and we'll make your life miserable. I didn't respond to any of them. Just forwarded each one to Vincent. This is gold, he said. Threatening behavior. Harassment. If this goes to court, the judge won't look kindly on this. 2 weeks later, something interesting appeared in public records. Ryan's business filing. The gym he'd supposedly been opening. Bankruptcy proceedings. Debts totaling over $100,000. The same Ryan my wife had tied herself to financially. The same Ryan who was using her credit cards. I sent the filing to Vincent without comment. He replied with a single word, beautiful. My wife's social media posts became less frequent. The glamorous photos slowed. No more expensive restaurants. No more luxury purchases. Word filtered back through mutual friends. Ryan was drinking heavily, gambling, fighting with her constantly. I focused on work. My project was ahead of schedule, under budget. My boss was impressed. You've turned your life around, he said during a review. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. What I was doing was simple. Working hard, staying focused, not letting chaos distract me. But then I checked my credit report. Routine check I did quarterly. There was a charge I didn't recognize. $10,000 drawn from a joint line of credit I'd forgotten existed. Withdrawn 5 weeks ago. From my wife's new address. I called the bank immediately. That account should have been frozen during divorce proceedings. It was joint access, sir. Both parties could still make withdrawals until the divorce finalized. But I didn't authorize this. The other account holder did. I documented it. Sent it to Vincent. His reply, we're adding this to the list. She's racking up quite a bill. My insurance company called. Someone had tried to remove me as a beneficiary on my life insurance policy. Who tried? A woman claiming to be your spouse. She had your policy number and personal information. I'm in the middle of a divorce. That policy is in my name only. We know, sir. That's why we're calling. The change was denied. But we wanted you to be aware. After hanging up, I sat at my kitchen table staring at nothing. She tried to remove me from my own life insurance. Probably to add Ryan. I called the insurance company back. I want to update my beneficiaries. I changed everything. Primary beneficiary became a veterans charity. Secondary beneficiary became a scholarship fund in my father's name. My wife wasn't even on the list anymore. And she'd never know until it was too late. That night, she called. I let it go to voicemail. Eric, we need to talk. Please call me back. It's important. I deleted it and went to bed. The next voicemail came at 2 a.m. I woke to my phone buzzing. Eric, I know you're mad. I know I hurt you. But you think you're better than me. You think you're so perfect? Ryan's not who you think he is. He's not who I thought either. Her words slurred together. She was drunk or crying or both. If you see him, if he calls you or shows up, tell him to come home. Please. Just tell him to come home. The message ended with the sound of breaking glass. I listened to it 3 times trying to understand. Tell him to come home. Like Ryan was missing. I didn't call her back. Didn't reach out. Whatever was happening in her perfect new life, it wasn't my problem anymore. But I saved the voicemail. Added it to my documentation folder. Because instinct told me I might need it. Days later, I heard through a mutual friend. Ryan's business partner had filed a missing person report. Ryan hadn't been seen in a week. Hadn't shown up to the gym they were opening. Wasn't answering calls. Just, I was at work when my wife appeared. My assistant tried to stop her, but she pushed past. She looked terrible. Hair unwashed. Dark circles under her eyes. Wearing sweatpants and one of my old hoodies she must have kept. Eric, he's gone. Ryan's gone. I don't know where he is. People in the office were staring. I stood up, guided her toward the door. You should call the police. I did. They're looking. But they think they're asking about money. About debts. They think he just ran. Then he probably did. Eric, please. I need your help. I looked at this woman I've been married to for 17 years. Saw desperation, fear, regret, but not for leaving me, for choosing wrong. I can't help you with this, I said quietly. Please, you should go. She left crying. My coworkers pretended not to notice, but I knew they all did. 2 detectives showed up at my office the next day, asked if I had a few minutes to talk. We went to a conference room. They asked basic questions. How well did I know Ryan? When was the last time I'd seen him? Did he owe me money? I barely knew him, I said honestly. He was involved with my soon-to-be ex-wife. I saw him maybe 3 times. She mentioned you might have information about his financial situation. Why would I? She said you've been tracking him, keeping records. I chose my words carefully. During divorce proceedings, I documented some concerning financial behavior, shared credit card use, unreported debts. But that was to protect myself legally. They made notes, asked a few more questions. Then, one detective said something interesting. You might want to check your joint accounts again. Make sure everything's in order. After they left, I called Vincent. They think she's involved in something. Let me make some calls. An hour later, he called back. Your wife tried to wire money overseas last week. $15,000. Bank flagged it as suspicious and froze the account. She's violated several court orders about asset movement. What does that mean? It means she's in serious trouble. And you need to stay as far away from this as possible. My wife texted that night. I just need help this one time. Please, Eric. I'm begging you. I stared at the message for a long time. Part of me, the part that had loved her for 17 years, wanted to respond, to fix her problem like I'd fixed so many before. But I'd learned something through all this. You can't fix people who don't want to be fixed. You can only protect yourself from their choices. I didn't respond. The next morning, I woke to pounding on my door. Opened it to find her standing there, looking worse than before. Can I come in? I stepped aside. She walked to the living room, sat on a couch like she used to. Ryan cleaned me out, she said, voice hollow. The condo, the credit cards, everything. He took it all and disappeared. I'm sorry. The police think I helped him. They're investigating me for fraud connected to his business. They think I knew about his debts and helped him run. Did you? No. I loved him. I thought we were building something. She started crying. Real tears this time. You're the only one who ever really cared about me, Eric. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for everything. I sat in the chair across from her. Said nothing. I need a lawyer, she said. The police seized my accounts. They're questioning everyone I know. My friends won't talk to me. My family won't help. I can give you Vincent's number. Vincent is your lawyer. He can recommend someone. Eric, please. You know, I didn't do anything wrong. Tell them. Tell the police I'm not a criminal. I can't do that. Why not? Because I don't know what you did. I haven't known what you were doing for months. Maybe longer. She looked at me with something like betrayal. You planned this. All of it. The cabin, the accounts, everything. You wanted me to fail. No, I said calmly. I wanted to protect myself from your choices. There's a difference. I'm going to lose everything. You already lost everything. You just didn't realize it yet. She stood up, fury replacing tears. You're enjoying this. Watching me suffer. I'm not enjoying anything. I'm just not saving you from consequences anymore. She left without another word. I sat in that chair for an hour afterward, feeling hollow but clear. This was it. The end of whatever we'd been. Through Vincent, I helped, but only through proper legal channels. Provided documents proving I had no involvement in Ryan's business. Showed that I'd actively protected myself from their financial decisions. Gave statements to police that were factual and unemotional. My wife's lawyer tried to claim I was obstructing her defense. Vincent shut that down immediately with documentation proving everything I'd done was legal. Over the next month, the truth came out. Ryan had been running a complex financial scheme, using investors' money for personal expenses. My wife had been listed on several business documents, making her legally liable. She claimed ignorance, said she just signed papers he put in front of her. But the evidence was clear. She'd benefited from the scheme, lived beyond her means, ignored obvious red flags. The condo went into foreclosure. Her friends stopped returning calls. The fairy tale life collapsed completely. Meanwhile, my project at work finished ahead of schedule. Under budget. My boss called it the best project management he'd seen in 20 years. "You've really turned your life around," he said. But I hadn't turned anything around. I just stopped letting other people's chaos define my worth. 6 months after everything started, the investigators found Ryan, alive, in Mexico, living under a different name. He was extradited, arrested, started cutting deals immediately, threw my wife under the bus at every opportunity, claimed she'd known everything, that she'd helped him plan the whole thing. She called me hysterical. "Eric, he's lying. He's saying I was part of it. You have to help me. You have to tell them I'm not a criminal." I paused, thought about 17 years. The good times and the bad. The promises and the betrayals. "You left me to build a life with a liar," I said finally. "What did you think would happen? Please, I'm sorry for what you're going through. But I can't help you. I can't fix this." "Why not?" "Because you made your choices. And choices have consequences." "You heartless." I hung up, blocked her number, sat in my quiet house and felt nothing. No victory, no vindication, just the peace of knowing I'd done the right thing. My lawyer advised selling the marital home. Too many memories, too much shared history. I agreed, listed it in spring, sold it within 3 weeks, used the profit to pay off remaining debts, donated $10,000 to a women's shelter in my father's name, put the rest in savings, downsized to a smaller place across town, modern apartment with a view, less maintenance, more freedom, started traveling, small trips at first, weekend getaways to places I'd always wanted to see, lost weight, started running again, read books I'd been putting off, reconnected with old friends who I'd lost touch with during the marriage. One of them asked me at coffee, "Do you hate her?" I thought about it. Really thought about it. "No," I said finally. "I don't hate her. I just don't think about her much anymore. That's healthy. It's necessary. Hate requires energy. I'd rather spend mine on better things." He nodded, understanding. "You know what's funny?" I continued. "I used to think revenge meant hurting someone, making them suffer. But now I think it's just about outgrowing them, moving on without them, building something better without their chaos. You've aged well through this." I smiled. "So have I." 8 months after the divorce finalized, I got a package in the mail. No return address. Inside was my wife's wedding ring and a handwritten note on familiar stationery. "Eric, you were the only one who never lied. I'm sorry for everything. I hope you find happiness. You deserve it more than anyone I know. I wish I'd seen that sooner. Your ex-wife." I read it twice. Felt a pang of something. Not love, not regret, just acknowledgement of what we'd been once. I put the ring in a drawer. Didn't throw it away. Didn't display it. Just kept it as a reminder. That night, I met friends for dinner. Laughed more than I had in years. Made plans for a trip to Montana in summer. Came home to my quiet apartment. Made tea. Sat on my balcony watching the city lights. My phone buzzed. Text from my boss. "Board approved your director position. Congratulations. You've earned it." I set down the phone and smiled at nothing in particular. Life was good. Simple. Mine. Everything I'd wanted without knowing I needed it. A year after everything started, I was packing for a trip to Colorado. Hiking, camping, things I'd always wanted to do, but never made time for. I found that drawer while looking for my watch. The one with the wedding ring. Pulled it out, held it up to the light. Remembered the day I'd slipped it on her finger. Young, hopeful, believing in forever. Forever lasted 17 years. Then it didn't. But that was okay. Because I'd learned something through all this pain. Some relationships are meant to last forever. Others are meant to teach you who you are when everything falls apart. My marriage did the latter. I put the ring back, closed the drawer, finished packing. Outside, spring was turning into summer. Warm air, clear skies, endless possibilities. My phone rang. A friend calling about meeting up in Colorado. Making plans. Building memories. I answered, smiling. Yeah, I'll be there. Can't wait. As I drove out of my parking garage later that day, I passed a coffee shop. Saw a couple through the window. Young. Laughing. Him leaning in to kiss her. I didn't feel bitter. Didn't feel regret. Just felt grateful. For the lessons. For the growth. For learning that sometimes the best thing you can do is let go of people who don't value you. My wife left me for a younger man. He disappeared. She fell apart. And I guess I just aged better. The road stretched ahead. Open. Clear. I turned up the music and drove toward whatever came next. Free. Whole. Finally at peace.